back to my channel. For those that might not know me, my name is Leah and I'm here again with another pregnancy update for you. I have a set of questions that I go through every time and I'm going to go through them again today, so I will get started straight away so I'm not keeping you for too long. So the first question is, how far along am I? And I am currently 39 weeks pregnant exactly today. So I'm in the last stretch of this pregnancy. The app on my phone says the baby is the size of a large watermelon, and I can definitely feel that as well. And I can see it in my bump as well, so yeah. The thought of carrying a big watermelon around with me all the time it's not something that most people want to do. Next question is, am I wearing maternity clothes? And today I actually am wearing a full set of maternity clothes, which I don't do very often. I usually wear oversized stretchy clothes. The dress is what's kind of more like a tunic, is from H&M, and that is from their maternity range, and my leggings are maternity ones from Lidl. Any stretch marks? Lots of stretch marks. I don't think any new ones from last time. I don't know whether my belly's growing very much now. I'm not too sure. I know when I had my midwife appointment last week, and I mentioned this in my update last week, that I was measuring dead on 38 weeks rather than a week over, because I had been measuring a week over for a long time. So she thought the baby might have dropped and given me a little bit more room. So hopefully I'm not stretching too much more, because I don't feel like I could stretch any further than I already have stretched so far. How am I sleeping? Still not great, but I am getting a little bit of sleep in between. I'm getting a lot of it's more numbness in my hips now. It is pain, but it kind of, my hip goes numb, and it goes numb so quickly when I lay down, and it's just all the extra weight that I'm carrying. I could try sleeping more propped up, but then I'd have to have a million pillows, and that's also a lot of pressure kind of on your lower back. So I'm trying to lay on my sides, but yeah, it does get uncomfortable. So I need to go to sleep quite quickly, which I struggle to do. If I can go to sleep, then I can forget about it until I've woken up and need to move, and then I really need to move and just sit there for a little while just to let it ease off, and then I turn over and then that hip goes numb, and then I have to obviously wake up and turn over again, and each time I do turn over I'm going to the toilet. So it's not brilliant, but I am getting a little bit of sleep in between. Going to bed a little bit too late than I should do, just because there's been so much going on. But I also kind of dread going to bed because it's so uncomfortable, so painful, so I kind of put it off. And then we get woken up in the night by our little boy, who is just turned 2. Last night I think he woke up at 2, and then about 5:30. Luckily I have a husband who is very good. He's not always patient, but he is very good and will get up and put him back to bed, because me getting out of bed when I'm kind of comfortable is not great. Whereas he can just kind of, if I can get him to wake up, he can get up a lot easier than I can. So that is really good. And he'll put him back to sleep. So at 2 o'clock he went back to sleep in his bed, but at 5:30 he did come in with me. And luckily he slept then, and we were able to stay in bed for a while after that. So I'm not getting up super early, luckily, even though he is waking us in the night, but that's not helping the sleeping situation. Any movements? Still having movements. They seem to have kind of calmed down a little bit. I'm not too concerned because I'm still getting movement, and I'm still kind of getting movement at similar times of the day, particularly in the evening. But they do say that once the space is getting less, that they do move a bit less, because there's obviously not as much space for them to move around. But I felt the baby move today and seen it as well, so I'm not concerned. If I was, then obviously I would be calling the maternity unit to let them know, and probably go down there just for them to monitor the baby. But it does seem to have calmed down slightly, although it is still uncomfortable, particularly when the baby kind of pushes out. I wish I had a midwife on hand sometimes, because just sometimes I just want to be able to ask them, what is that? Like last night I seemed to have the baby pushing out, and I had one lump which could have been the baby's bum, but then I had another lump at the side. So there's a lump at the front, and there seemed to be a bit kind of a lump at the side, and Keith was saying, is it a foot or something? But it just seemed to be too big and hard to be a foot, so I just wish I had someone like a midwife here just to kind of explain things to me and say, yeah, that probably is this or it's that. It's just to make sure it's not the baby's head, because obviously the head is meant to be down, and if you've seen my previous updates you'll know that I had to have a couple of scans, check where the baby was laying. And although they've said the baby probably won't move out of that position now, the baby's head is down, probably won't move, it's still at the back of your mind that you think that they might move. Tommy was in the right position and then he went breech and then he went back into the right position at the last moment. So they can move later on in your pregnancy. They have said that the baby probably won't. So hopefully that's right. But yeah, there's just occasionally when I wish there was someone here just to say everything's fine, yeah, the baby's still in the right position, that is just, and then try and explain it to me. Yeah, because it was a bit, the lump at the front definitely was something like a bum, or it could be a head, I guess, but if the baby's head is down it would have been the bum. And then one at the side, it wasn't the same, it wasn't as kind of pronounced, but it was so hard and definitely there, and seemed more than just like a limb. But whether it was more like a contraction, my belly just going hard, I'm not too sure. So hopefully the baby still is in the right position, but there's just sometimes a little bit concerning and you're unsure of what's happening, and I'm just fingers crossed the baby is in the right position, and this time the baby's back is against my belly rather than back to back, which is what happened with Tommy in the end. So we'll just have to wait and see, but yeah, that was a bit unusual. But yeah, I am still getting some movements, just doesn't seem to be quite as pronounced as it had been, but it's still hurting. Any food cravings? I don't seem to be having any food cravings at the moment. I do like eating sweet stuff, which I have done throughout my whole pregnancy, but it doesn't seem to be quite as much of a thing at the moment. Like, I'm not really craving it quite as much. So whether it's just because I'm getting to the end of my pregnancy and I'm just really not feeling eating, I am eating, obviously, but because I'm getting to the end of my pregnancy, maybe I just don't fancy food quite as much. So I'm not having any food cravings that I can think of. Anything making me feel sick? Well, last night I was feeling really nauseous right before we had our dinner. We had a day at home, we were doing loads and loads of organising. The house is, I say it's back in order. It was beginning to get back in order, but Keith started a new project down in the kitchen. So the kitchen is out of order again, as in it's disorganised, and I wanted to clean it today, but never mind. The job needed doing. But our upstairs, our bedroom is back in order. So we had a really productive day. And normally I'm eating breakfast, a snack, lunch, a snack, and then dinner. I think I had a snack in the morning, but I didn't in the afternoon, and because he was in the kitchen doing jobs, I couldn't really get in there, and I thought it was fine, didn't really think anything of it. And then our dinner was a little bit later than I would normally eat, particularly for Tommy, and I was just like getting a bit, I need food and I need it now. So that was I was getting a bit anxious with that. But yeah, that was making me feel sick that I hadn't eaten anything for such a long time, as in since lunchtime. And it wasn't really that long, but particularly when you're pregnant, you do need to be keeping your energy up, and at the end of your pregnancy you need to be, and I just need to be eating more regularly, so that did make me feel sick. So I'll be having an afternoon snack today just to make sure that doesn't happen again. My gender guess, for those that have seen my video, you'll know that we're having a little boy. I will link our gender reveal video so you can go watch it if you're interested. Any labour signs? Still kind of getting a lot of tightening. They seem to be getting stronger, and sometimes I'm considering whether it is actually contractions or whether it's more Braxton Hicks, just kind of practice contractions. I was meant to be going out on Saturday night to a friend's wedding, and I went in the end, but I was considering not going because I was getting a lot of tightening, and I'm just like, I'm going to go into labour this evening. I felt like everything was kind of really tightening up and then easing off and then tightening up, but there wasn't really anything regular to it. It wasn't getting stronger. I think it was just Braxton Hicks, and it's probably just the start of labour, kind of my body easing into it. Obviously I've not gone into labour, nothing has started off, but there has been a lot of things like that happening. There hasn't been anything else significant since last update. I know my last update that I mentioned that I thought my mucus plug had started to go. I haven't had any signs of that in the last few days, so I'm not sure whether it's kind of started to go and then it's just stopped. There's been nothing like that. Other than kind of the tightening around my belly, I'm not really getting any other signs, but it just feels like it's going to happen soon. But I could be waiting another week or so. Other than the tightening and the kind of niggles that I'm getting, I'm not getting any other signs that labour is there. I have been looking out for them, obviously, and I keep thinking to myself, how did I know last time that I was in labour? Because I was very sure that I was in labour last time. I did have kind of contractions throughout the day. I went into labour, and by the evening I knew that I was definitely in labour. And even though I've done this before, it's still a bit of, will I know? And I kind of wondering, is this it? Am I going into labour now? And so it's an unknown, and it will be possibly completely different this time round. I'm just waiting for those signs to kind of show me that I'm definitely in labour. And I was having a conversation with my mum this morning, and she had 7 children. There's 7 of us, and she even said that every pregnancy she kind of questioned, will she know that she's gone into labour? So even after 7 pregnancies, she was still questioning. So obviously after 2, there's no wonder that I'm questioning whether I will know if I've gone into labour or not. But I am definitely getting some tightening, more than just kind of my regular Braxton Hicks that I was getting previously, because they are definitely stronger, more painful, and more like a contraction, but they're not building up, and they're not consistent, and I'm not getting them constantly. You know, it's not every so often. I'll get a few and then that'll be it. So maybe I just need to go for some long walks or something to get things going, because I do get quite a bit of tightening when I do walk, but I'm not doing any long walks at the moment. One, I don't want to do anything like that by myself because I've got Tommy, and I wouldn't be able to push him in his pushchair because he's so big and the pushchair's heavy, and it's icy outside at the moment, so I don't really want to go anywhere too far because I don't want to fall over, and I don't want to be responsible for having to push Tommy around in his pushchair. So I'm not doing too many long walks at the moment, but maybe I need to at the weekend. Any symptoms? I mentioned in my last update that I had asked for a prescription for heartburn. I didn't get one, but the midwife said, did I want to get one, or did I want a request putting in? And I said, don't worry about it, because the heartburn seems to have eased off. The heartburn has been awful this last week. I can't believe it's been as bad as it's been. When I said to her, don't worry about it, I've not really had it for the past week. It's been awful this week. I think I'm just going to ride it out. I'm so close to the end now. If I was to get a prescription, I'd have to go down to the doctor's, which requires me to drive, which I'm finding really uncomfortable at the moment. I'm only driving if I absolutely have to. The rest of the time Keith's doing all the driving out, or I'm just not going out because it's just so uncomfortable for me to drive. I'm just going to ride it out. I've got a max of probably a week and a half before they will induce me anyway. I can survive that time. I've got Gaviscon and I can have milk and I can just put up with it. I've put up with it for this long, but I just can't believe that I said don't worry about it, and it has been awful since I said that. Even last night when I was going to bed, and I'm not sure whether I don't think I ate late last night, and yeah, just it's not so much heartburn, it's acid reflux, where the burning kind of comes up into my throat as soon as I lay down, and I know I need to put myself up more, but that's difficult because you need so many more pillows. I'm already using a ton of pillows as it is, but yeah, the burning is just awful. But I've only got a short time to write it out, so I'm just, at the moment, I'm just going to put up with it. But it's just ironic that I said don't worry about it. Other symptoms I'm getting, I'm getting a lot of pelvic pain, which I believe is called SPD. Don't ask me what that means. If I can find what that stands for, I will put it on the screen for you so you can see what that is. But basically it's a pelvic pain. It's just where there's a lot of pressure there. I think it can be even worse when maybe the bones aren't aligned properly, and I don't think I'm that bad. You know, there is women who have to have crutches and they suffer for it months and months with it. I have had discomfort there throughout a lot of my pregnancy, but these last kind of month or so it's gotten a lot worse. So I am getting a lot of pain. It hurts to stand up, it hurts laying down in bed, it hurts getting in and out of the car. The midwife said to me a few weeks ago to try and keep my legs together so I'm not like separating anything there, but my car's a little bit higher up, so it's almost impossible for me to sit in the car and then swing my legs round. I am trying, but it's almost impossible. But lifting my leg up to get, like one leg up to get into the car, I'm having to kind of hold it up because I haven't got the strength to lift my leg. So that is not nice. Sitting down, it can be a bit sore, but just going from the sitting to the standing position is really, really painful. So I am suffering with that at the moment. Again, I just need to ride it out. I've only got a short while to go now, but it's just difficult when you've got a toddler because they say, you know, relax as much as possible, but he needs me to do certain things for him. I'm having to crawl around the floor to tidy up after him, and he does help. Sometimes I do encourage him to help, but there's only so much he will do. He's only 2 years old and he has a good understanding, but his understanding is limited. So often I have to do the things with him in order for him to understand that I'm asking him to tidy up. He does understand, but he will tidy up better if I am tidying up with him. So I'm on the floor and then trying to get off the floor, it's not good. So that is quite painful. Another symptom I've been struggling with is exhaustion. I did seem to get a bit of energy for a little while, and maybe that was my nesting period, but I am tired again now. I'm coping okay, but I find by about 3:30 I am absolutely exhausted and I need a nap. That's right when Tommy is either already woken up from his nap or is waking up, and I probably should nap with him, but it's just when he's asleep I can get jobs done a lot easier and quicker, or make a video, which is what I'm doing today. He's downstairs sleeping at the moment. So I'm trying to get jobs done while he's asleep because it's a lot easier for me. I'm not having to kind of explain to him or move him out of my way, and if he gets a bit of a strop I'm not having to pick him up. So it's a lot easier to do jobs while he's asleep, but by about 3:30 I am absolutely exhausted and I need a nap. Is my belly button in or out? Most definitely out. Has been for a long time. Next question is, are my wedding rings on or off? And they are still on and still moving. I don't tend to put a lot of weight on my hands or my face while I'm pregnant. Definitely have swelled up around the middle with my belly, but I'm lucky that I don't kind of swell up around my face or hands. I know that a lot of women do. My feet and my legs seem to have kind of swelled a tiny bit, but nothing too significant. But no, my hands are totally fine. Happy or moody most of the time? I would say I'm probably feeling a little bit anxious at the moment. I'm just anxious about the labour. I know it probably will be different to my last labour, but I didn't have an easy time of it last time. It was a very, very long drawn out labour, and I just don't want to have to experience that again. And I know they do say second pregnancies, the labour is a lot quicker. I really, really hope so because it was so drawn out last time. I'm also anxious about when I go into labour, like what I will do. I've got people I can call, but they're not necessarily instantly going to be here. I don't want to have to call Keith if I'm going to be kind of in labour all day, and I don't want him to lose a whole day's worth of work, because I was in labour for like 2 days, 2.5 days with Tommy. If I was to go in labour first thing in the morning, I don't want to call him up and get him to come home and then lose a whole day of work if it's just really slow labour. So I could probably cope on my own most of that time. It's just Tommy that I'm anxious about. Obviously he will still need looking after. He won't understand that I'm in labour. I know at the beginning of labour you can still do quite a bit of stuff, but I don't know how quick things are going to move along this time. So I am feeling quite anxious about that. I do have people I can call on, but they can't necessarily be here within 5 minutes. They're more likely to be here within half an hour to an hour, or maybe even later. So I am a bit anxious about that at the moment. I'm hoping it happens in the evening or at the weekend when Keith is here. I don't have to worry about that. I went into labour at the weekend with Tommy, so I didn't have to worry about calling him up. At the time he was working on the road, so if I called him up he could have been 2 hours away, 3 hours away. I don't have that problem now. He is only a maximum of 45 minutes away, probably more like half an hour depending on the time of day. So that's not a problem this time. But I don't want him to come home from work if I'm going to be in labour all day and even lose a whole day of his paternity leave. I'd much rather him stay in work that day and then start his paternity leave the following day. It's just knowing when to call people, and so I'm getting a bit anxious about that. So I'm hoping that it's like everything starts off in the evening or at the weekend, then I don't have to worry about that. That would be the most ideal, but I know you can't plan these things. What will be will be. The baby will come when the baby's ready to come, or at least the labour will start when the baby's ready for the labour to start. So I'm just hoping that it happens at a time like that, because I am getting a bit anxious about that. I'm sure it will be fine. It's just the unknown, and I'm not good with the unknown. I like to be organised, and having a baby, you can only organise so much. You can get the nursery ready, you can get clothes clean, you can buy all the essential items, but when you're going to go into labour, it's something that's completely out of your hands. Unless you're going to have a planned section or an induction, you can't know when that's going to happen. You just have to wait for it to happen. So that's a little bit, it makes me feel uneasy. But I just know it's part and parcel of having a baby. It's just something I don't like and I'm not used to in kind of everyday life, because it's not the way I work, but it is something I have to live with. What am I looking forward to? I think I'm just looking forward to the baby being here now. Like I said, we had a really productive weekend. There is a couple of projects going on downstairs which hopefully will be done tonight, so that the kitchen can get back into order and I can clean it. I need to do a little bit of housework, but I've been keeping on top of that and things are pretty organised. There's not much more to do. I'm just waiting now. There's always going to be something to do. There's never going to be the right time for a baby to come. There's always going to be something that you'd like to do, like to get organised. And we do have a few things I still need doing, particularly with Christmas around the corner. I don't want to have to be thinking about that at Christmas. I just want everything doing so that when Christmas comes, we can just concentrate on this new baby, and hopefully they are here before Christmas. I'm hopefully going to be induced before that time. About midweek before Christmas I should be induced. So unless things don't work and it is delayed, I should have the baby here before Christmas. So I don't want to have to think about anything to do with Christmas, other than enjoying it with my family and just having a relaxed time. So I just feel like now I'm just ready for the baby to come, so that's really what I'm looking forward to at the moment. We've got no plans now. I thought I had no plans last weekend, but I did. I had a wedding to go to, but that was kind of always going to be, I'll see how I feel. And lastly, I will show you my belly shot. So this is my belly from the front, and I'll just show you from the side. So it's quite low down now. There's not much room there below the belly for where my legs start. But I know the baby can drop quite early with the second pregnancy. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm not sure if I'll get any more updates done. I have a hospital appointment booked for 40 plus 2 weeks. So it's possible that I could get a 40-week update done if the baby isn't here, and if I can quickly get it edited, I can get that uploaded. But I think at that appointment they will probably book me in for an induction, which could be that day or the day after. So I shouldn't get to 41 weeks, I hope not anyway. So we'll see. I'm not sure whether I will make it to 40 weeks, but this might be my last update, it might be my second to last one, who knows. But don't forget to go follow me on Facebook or Instagram, as that's where I will be sharing updates of when the baby is here. And no doubt will share updates on there more regularly than videos on YouTube for a little while anyway, once I have the baby and things settle down a little bit into family life. So go follow me there so you can keep up to date with anything that I share. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!